Hello, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Trifecta of Transformation. My name is Nathan Agpan. I am one of three coaches. I'm the host of the show. And in the Trifecta of Transformation show, which I'm going to bring my co-hosts on here in a minute, we normally are three coaches that come on to provide a live coaching intervention with somebody on whom, with which we put in our hot seat. So the individual presents a problem, presents a question or a challenge that they're experiencing in their lives, and we provide live coaching interventions. And our hope and our mission is that we can provide some of our time to helping individuals who are experiencing problems, but also to provide perspective. So you may be somebody who is having the same issue, or you can learn from this live coaching intervention as we carry it on live. We invite you to please comment, engage as we go through the show. Be with us. It's always a great time. And without further ado, I'm going to invite the first co-host onto the show, Miss Ayo Kolade. Hey, Ayo, you're alive. Say hi.
Hello, Nathan. Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here. So excited for another episode of the Trifecta of Transformation, and really excited to be here. We've got an amazing guest who has put her trust in us and is going to allow us to support her through a challenge that she's been going through. So I'm excited to dive in. Thank you for being here with us.
Excellent, excellent. Glad that you're here. All right, we're going to bring on the next person. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Daniel Mangena. Hey, Dan, say hi, you're live.
Hi, everyone. Daniel Mangena here, Dreamer CEO. Very excited to be part of today's Trifecta. I love having this opportunity to work with my illustrious co-transformers and be a part of this Trifecta. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So today we have the two segments. Number one, as we normally do, is usually the coach's corner. This is basically where we share a thought of the week. Okay, so one of us shares a thought of the week to get us started, to get our personal development, personal growth juices flowing. And today I happen to have that wonderful privilege of doing that. But you know what? As usual, I'm going to do this real quick. Dan, all right. Hold on. We had to put Ayo in the middle. Come on, we had to put Ayo in the middle. I mean, she's too glorious to put in the corner. So now the world is balanced. She's like that fulcrum, right? She's that pivot with which we both have to balance ourselves on. So yes, and if you guys haven't figured it out, we have fun when we're together, and it is an honor to be here. But today's thought, the thought of the week today was based on a note that I took, and I'm going to read this real quick before I go into expounding it real quick. And this thought said, don't dictate outcome based on prior history, because this guarantees you the effect of prior choice based on prior learning. Too often, and it is normal. It is how the mind processes information. It's to look through the files and the events of the past and saying, oh, this happened in the past, so if I do this, this will happen in the future. And so we often judge our actions based on past results. But what we tend to forget is that those actions were also based on prior learnings. It was based on a different level of consciousness, hopefully, that has been different. Right? So now if we know better, we can do better. That's number one. So if you took an action 10 years ago and you didn't do as well as you expected, well, it would only make sense that your results should be better because 10 years has passed and you've learned so much in that time. So don't base prior or current or future results based on prior results, because those were based on prior learnings. One more thing on that thought is this. It's an author, Thomas Troward. He said that, he's a metaphysical author, and he always speaks about precedent, does not exceed principle. Principle comes before precedent. And so if we pay attention to the way things are made in the world, everything comes based on principle, not on precedent. Because something was a certain way in the past doesn't mean it has to be that way in the future. What you must do then is use the principle of decision, the principle of intention, as Mr. Dan would say. Use that principle of intention to create the future. And so your future is going to be based on principle, not precedent. I hope that makes sense. And now that I've kind of expounded on it a little bit, guys, any one of you have any thoughts on that concept of basing actions on what we know now and on the future as opposed to the past?
Yeah, I think just speaking to, one of my biggest things that I'm, really, really passionate about is ongoing personal development. And the more we're learning, the more we're growing, the more we're evolving as human beings, we're going to be bringing different ideas, different understandings, different learnings to the table as we move through life. So what was once, like you said, the level of consciousness that you acted from and got different results from in the past is not going to perhaps be the same level of consciousness and awareness that you're going to be acting from as a result of having evolved, as a result of having done continual personal development, as a result of having cleared up some of the stuff that was in the past that was actually contributing to you making those decisions and having the outcomes that you achieved in the experience that you had at the time. So this, continually working through stuff, continually cleaning up stuff, working through stuff, evolving, being on this ongoing journey of personal development, not just this ongoing journey through life, but ongoing personal development, ongoing evolving and ongoing changing and growing is going to assist us in having different, having different offerings to give to life, taking away different learnings from the experiences that we have, and being able to perhaps learn so much more and have different interactions and have different experiences based on the ways that we're growing and that we're learning. So just that's what I've got to say about that.
Excellent. Dan, have you got anything on that?
Well, the illustrious Adizal has already covered the core points. But yeah, it's just, if we're not growing, we're dying. And if we're continuing, if we look at the law of vibration that says that, we're experiencing our world based on the vibrations of our thoughts principally, then if we're continuing to only hold a certain thought through a certain lens, then we're limiting our growth to that lens versus zooming out a little bit, taking a step back and thinking, well, hang on a minute, what new resources have I got? What new learnings have I got to contribute to this thought process? And therefore, what new possibilities are open to me as a result?
Excellent. All right. That was really, really good. Thank you guys for expounding on that. But before I leave, I want to read that again. Do not dictate outcome based on prior history, because this guarantees you the effect of prior choice based on prior learning. If you decide it is how it's going to be, that, what's going to happen is the same way it happened in the past, you're making a decision that will guarantee the effect of prior choice based on prior learning. Doesn't matter how smart you are today. Doesn't matter how conscious you are today. If you make that decision, you are guaranteeing the result of prior choice based on prior learning. You're reverting back to a lower level of consciousness from which you're pulling your proof. And guess what? That's exactly what you're going to manifest. All right. Now that we're good with that, thank you guys. Thank you. This is awesome. All right. So we're going to move to section 2. We're going to move to part 2 of our Trifecta of Transformation show, which is the star part of this show, and that is the hot seat. This is where we invite one new person every time we're on, every episode, who has a challenge, who is experiencing a problem, who would so badly want a breakthrough. And we bring this person on to share with us what they're experiencing. And then all three of us will provide our perspective and an intervention with the goal of creating a shift in this individual's outcomes. So today we do have a wonderful volunteer, and I'm going to have Miss Ayo tell us about our guest today, because she is the one who brought her on. So Ayo.
Before we do, can you just double check that your stream is public on your Facebook, because I can't see it.
Can't see
So I
it.
don't think, I'm not sure that people can see us.
No.
So if we can just get that
All right,
figured
let's do
out.
that. Yes, please. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. Oh, bloody. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, I normally have it on private when we first begin to ensure that we've got everything all set up, but
Yeah,
they won't miss the juicy part, and we can always watch it again. All right,
of
let's
course.
roll. Okay, so could you please tell us about our guest today, Ayo?
Yeah, let me just share this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now that it's gone public.
Yes.
And then we can do that, so I can give it my full attention.
Certainly. And I'm gonna message Kim.
With
and everybody bear with us here. I kind of goofed up there in the technology department. So sorry, we've got to make this up. But in the meantime, I'm going to put this banner up, and our guest is getting ready to come on. She has been just kind of warming up. So give us a minute. And for those of you who's now joining us, welcome to the Trifecta Transformation Show. We are about to start part 2, which is the hot seat. And today we do have a guest with us who's going to be presenting her situation, her challenge. And the goal is to provide live coaching intervention for a breakthrough, or at least a change of perspective for this individual. So she is standing by. We will have her on here in a minute. We're just kind of waiting on Ayo to introduce our guest to us here. So she's ready.
Okay, so we have Kim in the hot seat today, and I'm super excited to bring her on in just a short moment. She's going to share with us her problem and the challenges that she's been going through. So I'm not going to tell you too much about it, because we want it really very much in her words. But just to give you a little bit of insight, is going to be around relationships and some challenges that she's been experiencing. And maybe we may bring some other areas of, financial abundance into it as well, just depending on how much time we've got and how much we're able to get through. So without further ado, I will welcome Kim onto the show. And
Excellent.
It is an absolute pleasure to have her here with us.
Excellent. One moment.
Oh,
And there she is. Hello, Kim. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Good.
I can. So welcome to the Trifecta Transformation. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to have Ayo begin, since she was the one that made contact with you just in the event. She has a direction in mind that she would like to go. So Ayo, please.
Yeah. Hey, Kim. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's an absolute pleasure to have the opportunity to assist you in making some changes with us today. We're really excited and really grateful that you stepped up to the plate and are willing to be here with us. So thank you for that. I hope you're feeling relaxed and ready to share some of the challenges that you've been going through, so that we can support you, and know that you've had some time to kind of think about and get a little bit more clarity around what it is that you want to help with. So I will leave that open to you. If you can just share with us and just start by just telling us what it is that you would like a help with. And like we've said, we'll do our very best to support you with that.
Thank you, Aya. It's interesting that you used the word clarity just now. That's something I've been struggling with for a little while of late. Wondering why I'm having so much difficulty in this area when I've done so much work, and I feel like I do my work with others. I'm really helpful to other people, but I can't sort my own place out. And now with this very interesting time where I feel like a bit like I'm walking through molasses now in stage 4 of where I live, the stage 4 lockdown. I understand the difference between time and space and time, and I know a lot of this stuff intellectually, but I can't seem to get it into myself. So I've been feeling some fear that, like, I'm running out of time to be where I want to be and achieve what I wanted to achieve. Both the financial security and in a meaningful, loving relationship. I've self-sabotaged in the past, and I think I can recognize, I'm confident, I think that I could recognize that if the situation was to arise in the future. But yeah, I think my biggest thing at the moment, it's changed a little since we were first in touch, due to the passing of time and situations kind of changing around me. But I feel a little bit like I don't have the I was going to say something really bad then, that I don't have control, which I know I don't have control. Yeah, it's
so Kim, let me help Kim, let me help steer the ship here real quick. Number one, we do not know anything about your presenting situation. Dan and I know nothing, and that's how we keep it. So we're going to have to ask you more questions to kind of get a feel of who you are, because we are just it is intentional. So number one, let us please start with what. Okay, so if we had a magic wand and we needed to wave this magic wand and create something in your life, a change, a breakthrough, a transformation, what would you say that is? If you could manifest a state, a place in your life, what would it be?
I'd be in a meaningful, loving relationship. I would have no financial issues, and I'd be able to, I'd be happy in my work.
Okay, excellent. Now,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel that in January this year, I really was very in a good place, thinking that this 2020 was going to be my year. I'd finally done all the work. I was ready to step up and step out and into a new relationship, into a financial abundance, and my business would up level, and everything was, this was it. Finally, my year of no more stuffing around in the past and self-sabotaging and all those other things that had occurred. This was it. And of course, then February came around, and the whole world changed. And yeah, I worry that as I mature, that time is running out. Like when I'm again able to travel or connect with others in person, that it's this is the most recent fear. I think that it's all going to too late. My run is too late. Yeah.
Okay. So Kim, what do you do? What do you do professionally? What do you do for work?
I've written a couple of books, so I'm an author and a coach. So I do very well with others, but I just feel like I'm not setting the greatest example. Yeah.
That's fine. Be easy on yourself, because we all lift each other up. They say a brain surgeon cannot perform brain surgery on themselves. So I think it's to start with is the expectation that you have to be perfect to be a coach, and it's really not the case. Yeah. So what kind of coaching do you do specifically? I'm trying to gain clarity on that. Is it general life coaching? Do you do business coaching? Do you do relationship coaching? What's your expertise?
More, I say results, like a transformational coach. I have specialized in resilience. I'm well versed in that personally. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. And just so we can get all our questions out, Dan and Io, if you guys have any questions around this, please feel free to ask questions that can help us understand what the presenting issue is, and then that will help us create the intervention and the breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
So as they think about a question, I'm going to ask you this: what's the issue you've had with relationships in the past?
Of betrayal. I've always been over nurturing and over giving. I've been suffered financially, emotionally, and physically in relationships. I've been married once. I have 2 beautiful children. Is it sufficient? Yeah, I had one relationship with a narcissist of the highest degree, and was in a meaningful relationship. Well, I still have this something, a situationship, with someone in another country, which is extremely difficult right now. Yeah.
Okay. Dan, Io? I've got other questions, but I figured I'll let you guys ask your questions.
So, why do you want a relationship?
For a lot of reasons. To share the really important and beautiful things that I'm discovering in life.
And what happens if you just enjoy that by yourself?
I think it multiplies when you have someone to talk about it with, to experience it together.
And how do you know that?
Because because I had a very brief experience of it. And I suppose it's a yearning I've had since I was a very little girl, because my family of origin was not ideal, and I suppose I built this thing in my head that my family was going to be different to how I grew up and the relationships that I witnessed and saw.
Have you considered the possibility, and let me be very careful about this for anyone listening, I'm not negating the possibility of creating what you've stated that you desire.
Mm.
However, I'd like to explore the possibility of you potentially chasing after something that might not be real for you. I'm not saying not real in general, but not real for you. Have you ever explored that possibility?
You meaning that that's not meant for me? That's not in my...
No, let me put
what do you mean?
Let me put it in a different way. If your motivating factor is avoiding repeating an experience that you grew up with, there's a possibility that unconsciously you're seeking that familiarity, and that the backdoor way that you find that familiarity of having the not having is by chasing after something that you don't even think is really possible for you at an unconscious level.
I was just going to say that it would have to be at an unconscious level, because that's something that I can't get to myself, because I've done all the work on that. I don't think so. I when I started to dive deeply into that, I had met somebody who was absolutely wonderful, and But then when I found out a little bit more about him, I thought, wow, he was certainly the wealthiest, most powerful, most amazing man I had ever met. And I straight away went into my, when he finds out all about me, then it's not going. It can't possibly go ahead. So that was my biggest and most successful effort of self-sabotage, but that relationship. So I learned a lot from there at that, and it made me look more into that area. Yeah.
So what happened in that situation, Kim? Or how did you self-sabotage? Did you tell him it's over, or did you do something that made it end, or how did it end?
I stepped into somebody that wasn't my authentic self. I always tried to. I put on a little bit more of a facade, and just with very subtle things, not realizing, of course, at the time, just pushed him away. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did your relationship with the narcissistic partner, your husband, your ex?
Oh no, they're two different people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay, all right.
I was married for 22 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that was way too long, though. That was way too long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you feel the 22 years is? Well, I mean, you said it's way too long. So you're saying you should have probably exited it earlier. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have other questions, but I'm going to let Ayo go if Ayo has any questions for more insight.
Yeah, you mentioned that you feel that time's running away and you don't have the time to be where it is that you want to be. I'm just wondering whether you're actually trusting in the timing of the universe, and whether you're trusting that the way that things are unfolding is perhaps the way that they need to unfold for you to get to where it is that you want to be. And it's actually really interesting, because I'm got something in the pipelines that I'm planning specifically around trusting in the timing of the universe. And a number of people have reached out and, shared with me on social media that one of the things that they really struggle with and find less easy is knowing where they want to be, knowing also that the universe has a grand plan for them, but finding it really challenging to trust in the timing of the universe. And I'm just wondering whether you do trust in the timing of the universe, and you realize or have considered whether the journey that you're on is actually navigating you towards the resource and the help and the support that you need, that's going to support you in achieving the outcome that you want to achieve. And that although it may feel that it's not happening quickly enough because of whatever feelings it is that you have around the areas of your life that are lacking or that are not as you want them to be, that there is actually a bigger plan in mind, and that it's about consistently continuing to take each next logical step in order for you to get to where it is that you want to be. For example, being on this show with us today is one of those logical steps that you've stepped into, and you've opened your heart to the possibility that this could be a really transformational experience for you. And we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that that's the case.
Right.
So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, sorry. What you said, I try to remind myself every day that of the universe's divine timing. But I must admit that my trust is wobbly.
Right.
Yeah.
Why so?
That I don't know. I guess it's one of those loops. It comes back to, well, when I feel like I'm making some headway or more, moving forward or made that step. I know I'm moving forward, but the steps seem to be really slow and small,
Okay. So just give me 1 second, Dan.
Yeah, please.
The wobbliness that you have around your trusting in the universe, how's that working out for you?
Oh, clearly not well.
Right.
It's kind of together with my...
So is it something that, I mean, because you could just continue having this wobbly trust in the universe and you could continue seeing the results that you're seeing.
No, I'd rather not.
Or I mean, you could. It's completely up to you. If you chose to stay there in that wobbliness that doesn't potentially provide you with the outcomes that you want to see,
right.
Or you could. What are you doing to be more trusting in the universe? What's your?
I'm just trying to constantly remind myself, and I tell other people too.
Right.
I remind them to trust in the divine timing, and the universe has a plan, and all things along those lines. I think I'm not sure if it's my self-doubt tied in with the trusting of the universe.
Okay.
I seem to think that they're both a bit wobbly,
I've got a question for you, Kim. Time is a construct. Let's start there. But I've got a question. You said time is running out. How much time do you feel you have left?
Longer than I can afford to live right now. Yeah.
Expound on that. And I'm gonna ask you the question that most women don't want to be asked, but I'm gonna ask you that because we're in a serious conversation. How old are you?
I'm 63.
Okay, excellent. Now, at what age do you feel that, oh my God, when I hit this age, I'm out of the game? What age do you feel that is?
I've never really thought about that. Age used to mean absolutely nothing to me. If people asked me how old I was, I'd have to just say, I was born in this year. And you do the math. I just never really worried about age.
Right. Could it perhaps be that you haven't thought about it consciously? Because the reason I say that is this: when a person uses the phrase "time is running out," there is an association to time, right? You can't if you didn't have a reference point, then you don't have time, right? Because it would be eternity. So the question is, subconsciously, if you were to guess a number, is it okay? Oh my God, if I hit 70, if I hit 80, because there has to have been a thought of that. Because what if you live to be 90 years old, right? But if you feel that time is, exactly. So if you feel that time is running out, there has got to be an association of your viability for a trusting, loving relationship, the kind that you want. For some people, some women who are 30, who feel like, oh my God, I must have a child. And all of a sudden they must have this child before they're 35 because they feel their clock, everything in the world ends then if they don't achieve that goal. So I want you to really think, and I think it is something that your subconscious can really easily serve to you, is there has to have been a concept in your mind that says, at this point, I am running out of time, right? To the extent that it triggers this almost fight or flight response in you, right? So after February, you felt like, oh my God, I am really running out of time now, right? So the question is, what reference point are you using? If you were to guess.
I have no idea, really. Appropriateness, maybe?
So do you think if you were single by the time you were 70, do you think then you would have been really out of the game? Or do you think that, hey, Would you still be looking forward to it? Or what do you, there has to be a point in your mind, because the fact is, the closer you get to that point is almost where the anxiety it starts to come and build even more. Close your eyes and just allow yourself to feel. Because here's the thing, you said, I can't think of anything, but you have feelings. So just feel into your heart, feel into your desire. And there's going to be a feeling of a unique number, a unique point. We know the time has not run out, but you feel it is running out because you're getting closer to a point. Feel into a number, and when you can put your hand on your feeling around that number, just say what it is. You don't have to logically reason it out.
64.
Okay.
Because it comes before 65.
Okay. So and here's the question. At 64, which makes sense, because the fact that you worry about the events of this year really proves that 64 is a valid time place for you. Because if you had 10 years left, you'd be like, yeah, what's a few months, right? But then the question is, what happens if we're in lockdown till next year?
Yes.
Do you feel that then you would really, really never be with anybody again?
Yeah, then when I come out, there'll be nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
And yes. All right, we'll leave it at that, I suppose.
No, please say what you wanted to say. It's
I
important.
don't. It was more tied in with my business and financial thing rather than financial. So, just I'd had to rebuild from everything really over the last 10 years. So that's why this has been maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the 10-year anniversary of coming into the new me, without taking up hours of your time. 10 years ago, I was told I'd never walk again. I'd spent nearly 2 years in hospital and had 8 operations and big surgeries. And I had a lot of rehabbing to do. So that became a major focus for quite a while, to learn to walk again. And because I wasn't going to believe what they told me. So I can. And since then, I became a yoga teacher. So there you go.
That is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I don't do all my positions the same as everybody else does, but I can do them.
So you bypassed the belief that other people had of your ability to heal yourself and to be able to function the way that you want to function.
Yes.
So you have the ability to bypass beliefs. You've proved that you're absolutely brilliant at bypassing beliefs. What if you could apply that same internal technology to your beliefs about your ability to have the relationship that you want?
Well, that
and
would
what
be
if
wonderful.
you what if you could apply that same internal technology to expanding perhaps this age limit that you've put on yourself about when it will be possible up until for you to have the relationship that you want? What stops you from doing that?
That very powerful voice, and I can talk myself into or out of anything. Really, I've proved that.
That's a really, really powerful ability to have.
But sometimes it works against me. So I haven't been able to tame that. I think And I'm not sure if it's more in my conscious mind or my unconscious mind, but it's I can on one level convince myself that something, this is the way it should be or is, but on another level, my world is believing something else.
So you said a moment ago that you can talk yourself into or out of anything. What if you could talk yourself into the beliefs that you want to have? Because if you can talk yourself into anything, then having the beliefs.
I think I was more, let's say, like my head can tell my heart that, you know, I can, that argument, my head can win hands down, you know. But it's not always right.
I've got a question here, Kim, in order to give us clarity, we want to make sure we're not missing the boat here. If you had, you know, remember our magic wand?
Yeah.
We only had one wish that we could fulfill. You only had one wish that you could choose. Which would you choose? Would you choose the financial abundance, or would you choose a relationship?
Oh, that.
You could only have one.
And you want me to decide now? I have struggled with this, I know at least for the last year and a half, where I like, where is my focus? Is it on money or relationship, you know, or business money relationship? And I've just been, it's like a seesaw, you know. They're both. And I keep coming back to the same answer, that they're both 100%. I want them equally.
I understand, but let's say,
I want
Kim,
it all.
you had the ability to, you had the ability to dramatically change your financial situation, dramatically. But they said, Kim, you'll be single for the rest of your life. Or you had the ability to get in the most loving, blissful relationship that you had always fantasized about. They said, Kim, you will always be at this level of financial security. Choose one. Which would you choose?
You mean this current level of financial security?
Where you are right now.
Yeah. That's an unfair question.
It's called a hot seat for a reason.
Yeah, I'd go with the relationship.
Okay. Good. The good news is you don't have to forfeit the financial abundance, but now you know what's most important to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because as much as we always say, oh, I want it all, but then we don't get either of the two, that doesn't help. So now we know what your priority is, because when you solve that problem, you can go solve the other problem rather easily, most likely, right? Because in the process of solving the relationship issue, I bet it will change you to become a person who can earn more money. Yeah. I'm gonna let Dan talk. He's been so silent. Dan.
I'm so patient.
I'm at a bit of advantage because I know Kim. I've known Kim a while. So yeah, I know Kim.
How are we just knowing this, dude?
I'm actually a little bit more familiar with the background to some of the expressions of some of these challenges, and a little bit more aware of the leaps forward that she's made and how that's been showing up for her. The reason why I kept my mouth shut is because the benefit of being here is the trifecta. Yes. So having that new perspective. And also, Nathan, you're a monster when it comes to data collection. So there was going to be something new. Also, I've got I technically have preconceived notions and ideas about what the route is for Kim, which I didn't want to pollute the integrity of the Trifecta adventure. And I actually feel more sure than ever that it comes down to a couple of things. I'm very, 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 very sure that the self-sabotage is not self-sabotage so much as the unconscious mind achieving its objective of maintaining the worldview that you've always had. I will say the mind doesn't lose. The unconscious mind is a highly effective instrument. What happens is it's given distorted instructions, and those distorted instructions will continue to be effectively played out until they're disrupted. And I asked you earlier if you played with something, because I'm fairly confident that, and Nathan probably is going to know this. Is it the Alice syndrome? Was it Alice in Wonderland syndrome, when they give us when we have a fairy tale ideal of a relationship in our mind that we're pursuing, but we never actually get to?
I don't know what it's called, but I do know
you're the only one that normally, when I can't remember the name of something, knows it. You failed me, Nathan. I don't know what to say.
Good thing you're not on a TV. Good thing you're not on a TV show for $1 million. You would have.
You were the one I would call. Like,
I don't think it's Alice. It's another girl's name.
It's something along those lines. But we have distorted viewpoints of relationship that we're playing out, and sometimes when this meets an unconscious desire to play out a dysfunction, for example, then it becomes the medium through which we can consciously feel like we're doing everything, but we're doing everything in pursuit of a distorted objective that we don't even see because it's happening at an unconscious level. Ergo, I asked you, why do you want a relationship? And you're like, because I want to share this and I want to share that, and blah, blah, blah. But who says that that's what you need to do? What's wrong with enjoying by yourself? Because actually, when we're coming at something from, I need this because I don't have it, I'm coming from lack. And if I'm coming from a place of lack, then I'm going to manifest an experience of lack. So if I'm coming at a desired relationship and saying, I want a relationship because I want to share this and I want to share that, but the energy underneath it is because it's not okay for me just to do it by myself, then that lack energy, a lack seeds, is going to be lack fruit. And a loving relationship is not aligned with that energy of lack. And so it's unlikely to be born. Does that make sense?
The subconscious belief versus your conscious want.
Yes.
That's what Dan is speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And to Dan's point, let's shed some more light on that with a little bit more data collection. So Kim, you had said something about your conscious mind talking you out of those things. You're pretty good at it too.
Yeah.
So the question is, when you say, I'm going to have this wonderful relationship, but this is my year of the relationship, what does the conscious mind say to talk you out of that? What's the narrative? Yeah, but what?
I actually had no obstacles that I was aware of this year. I was, as I said, convinced. But then I suppose my subconscious belief would be that something out of my control is going to happen to prevent it, like COVID. Yeah, I guess that would be it.
Okay.
Can I just come back and say, when I said about sharing experience, I was taking that, my mind went back to like when there's been major celebrations, achievements or really good things with my children, at the end of it all, I remember thinking a couple of times, it was such a fantastic, occasion or day or experience. Wouldn't it have been nice to share it with, to be walking home hand in hand with somebody after and sharing it, whatever. That was where I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to this real quick. Thank you for clarifying that, Kim. All right. So now we know We're doing a little bit of forensics on this. I need to find a relationship. In fact, I've done all this work. I'm going to find this wonderful relationship. The conscious mind says, yeah, but time is running out, Kim. Yeah, but something will happen. Something always happens, right? When it goes good, my luck, boom, something happens. So we've got two. What else? Yeah, but what else?
There's a tendency that it's becoming less and less for me, I must admit, to fall back into choosing safety or security rather than staying out there and because I that was something I always has been an issue for me since a little girl. And in relationship, I suppose maybe is it a bird in the hand, settling for less maybe, or
safety and security. What do you gain by having safety and security? What is it? Safety and security in not seeking a relationship, or where do you get that safety from?
Oh no, it's not. I'm not looking for someone else to provide the safety and security for me. It's well, maybe I am if I think, as I'm a little old lady 20 years down the track, that I would feel safer and with or more secure in a partnership than being on my own on a park bench. But I suppose I could
I have one last thing before I pass it on to Dan and Io. So what I would do is seek the narratives that you are telling yourself, those buts. Because here's the thing, I guarantee one of the buts is but he's going to cheat on me. Yeah, but what if he ends up being a narcissist and he does the things that other guy did, right? You want to really understand it's in your subconscious mind, because even we just what we talked about before we brought you on today is making decisions based on the past. The conscious mind has no other reference than past events. So you want to ask yourself, what are these stories? Yeah, but he's going to break my heart. Yeah, but he's going to cheat on me. Yeah, but what if it's younger and he, I'm this, that, and the other, right? Because remember, you had been in a situation, he was he was better than you deserved, and whoop, you blew that one away. You want to understand what are the narratives that you are using. Self-sabotage occurs for a reason. Yeah. It really is a positive thing. Your subconscious is trying to do, like Dan said, subconscious never loses. What is happening, you're giving it a command based on a belief system that it's executing, and that needs to be diffused.
It was the whole self-worth thing, but I think I've improved that a lot. That's what it was in the past. My sense of self, or lack of sense of self-worth. Yeah.
So right now, if COVID, your lockdown ended tomorrow, would you be fine? Do you feel?
If I could fly out of Australia, I'd be,
So your entire problem with relationship right now is
no, it wouldn't.
Okay, good.
But I would at least have options. Like I don't have right now. I don't have. There are no options. But well, it's interesting. And to be totally honest, and I was like, normally I would be way too embarrassed to speak in public about like anything that I've said already. But an old boyfriend of mine from when I was 20 has recently stepped back into my life, and would be in a flash. It's just told me like, but that's not right. I could be a friend to him, but I could easily just say, "Oh, okay," and because I know that's what he wants for best.
Okay, good. That's good info. I'm going to pass it along.
Yes. Okay.
With that information, you guys can work that. Ayo, Dan?
First of all, I'd just like to start off by saying just a couple of, I guess, points or things that you can take away and maybe try and focus on that are going to get you some shifts, because we only have, a limited time to provide you with our support on this show. So it really is taking on what we've shared with you in this time and taking some action on some of the things so that you can start making some of these shifts. And one of the things that I would really ask you to lean into is to acknowledge your power. Really, really understand and acknowledge, you mentioned about being in hospital for 2 years, being told that you were never going to walk again, and then coming out of hospital and being able to become a yoga instructor and have this amazing ability with a body that you were told was redundant. I'd like to see you tap more deeply into that power when it comes to starting to create the life that you want, and when it comes to focusing on using the power of your mind and focusing on the things that you want to have, rather than we have got this situation, we don't know how long the situation with COVID is going to exist, we don't know how long our movements are going to be restricted for, and we're not going to know until things change. But if in the meantime you can start moving your universe, your personal universe, using the power of your mind, using this innate ability that you have to construct and create the life that you want to have, you've proved to yourself how powerful you are. And if there's some resistance around that, and that resistance is coming from that fight you said that you have between your head and your heart, the second thing that I would invite you to do is to really work on your internal dialogue, work on the conversations that you're having, and work on changing that, work on making moves and making shifts around your internal dialogue. So the internal dialogue that you're having is actually supporting the life that you want to have. I mean, you said that you're 63, you look absolutely incredible. I would have said 20 years younger, if not more. And I'm not just saying that
even
to make
at
you
this
feel,
hour
I'm
at the
not,
morning.
you look absolutely incredible. And I'm not saying that just to make you feel better. I'm saying that because it's the truth. I was absolutely gobsmacked when you said that's, and there's nothing wrong with 63. I'm not saying that, I'm not an ageist. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that you have a very luminous appearance. And I think that sometimes we place a lot of value on as a female myself, we place a lot of value on our external appearance, and can worry that, okay, we're aging, we're getting too old. It's never going to happen for us. Time's running out. We're getting too old. But I would just like to also, the third thing that I would like to leave you with is the fact that you are an absolutely radiant being. And, the fact that you've done all of this incredible work, this incredible internal work, the fact that you are willing to continue to tap into this incredible internal work, it speaks volumes about you. So the fourth thing that I want to leave you with is to really acknowledge yourself more. Acknowledge all of the things that you've done, acknowledge all of the progress that you've made. And, Dan said that he can speak more vocally, or could speak more vocally if he, with the information and knowledge that he has about you, about the shifts that you've made over the time that he has known you. So I think one of the ways that you can start to challenge and change that internal dialogue that you have with yourself is to really start focusing on all of the shifts, all of the changes that you have made, and knowing that there's more to come, knowing that there's still more shifts that you can make, knowing that time is not running out for you, and that is just a belief that you have held, and that at some point that can change. At some point, I'd like to think that perhaps even after today's conversation, you're going to walk away with perhaps different thoughts about that. Your time is not running out. That there is indefinite time. And that it's a case of making these internal shifts so that you can have a different experience of reality. And so that you can start seeing things unfolding in a very different way for you. So we'll definitely make sure that you get a copy of this video so that you can watch it back, because it's less easy to take on and really have a cognitive understanding of, all of the things that you can do, all of the shifts that you can make when you're you're in the hot seat and you're here, you're being present, and you're just absorbing the experience for the experience itself. So while you've been doing that, obviously this is being recorded, so we can give you a copy of this video and then you can review it and perhaps go away and start taking action on some of these things. So before I pass you over to Dan, I don't know whether he's got anything else that he wants to say, but we want to make sure that he gets an opportunity to, because he has been so patient.
I know.
Is there any questions that you want to ask? We've asked you a lot of questions, and we've done this whole data collecting so that we can do our best to support you. Do you have any specific questions that you want to ask to get some guidance around specifically, so that you can leave with having had those questions answered?
I don't think specifically. That this time in isolation has been, I've done a lot of inward thinking, but in some days I think that's it's not been in my favor, because then I start to question things more and get my head more involved than like everybody. It's good and bad. I have good days and bad days, but I have I suppose now that I've up-leveled, then I start to question in a different way. I was starting to think about things like, this is with all the self-doubt, about what I've inherited in my DNA, and whether that's how that is playing out, and maybe, yeah. So I could get myself really tied up entangled in things.
Dan?
So it's nice to have other, yeah. Thank you.
So has it before you come in, has it helped to have alternative perspectives? Has it helped to have a space to kind of iron out some of these thoughts and perhaps get out of your head rather than being so internalized? Yes. Yeah. I haven't had an explosion, a big, but I've got things to now go away and reconsider, or just see how it feels when it lands, more what I'm doing.
Excellent.
So yes, I do have time. Yes.
We all have time.
Dan is still going to deliver his magic. You may get the explosion then, but I still have some things to share from the notes I've taken so far. Dan, please.
You're enough, Kim.
Thank you, Dan.
I really want that to settle in. We are here to support you in stepping into the fullness of your enoughness. We experience that which we are a vibrational match to. Scientifically demonstrated truth. Everything that we're experiencing is because it's a match for where we're at. And so when we have a clear vision of where we want to be, it's almost about getting out of the way so that the autopilot that is us, that can work in perfection, is allowed to do its work of carrying us there in the perfect time. And so when we're clear on what we desire and why, then we can start to eliminate those parts of ourselves that distort our ability to connect with that thing. So when you're saying I want a meaningful relationship, and you can understand I want a meaningful relationship because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then we can productively start to get out of the way of ourselves stepping into those things versus, and again, you did give us some additional details. So I'm not using this to go back over what may have been an incorrect assumption on my end, but when I'm stepping towards something because I desire it for what it is, as opposed to its difference to where I'm at, then I'm moving towards something, and then I can be fully supported in a movement forward towards that thing in an expansive way, rather than running away from something which still keeps me in relationship to it vibrationally. Because if I'm moving towards something because I don't want something else, that not wanting is still a vibrational relationship to that thing I don't want, which can hold me in slavery to that thing, versus having the freedom to fully connect vibrationally to the thing I want. Love and relationship, health, abundance, and you've done it. You are a walking freaking miracle. And it's just a matter of you stepping out of the way of separation. But it's a matter of you stepping out of the way of separation between that miracle that you have witnessed in one area of your life and the fact that that miracle can be a truth in all areas of your life, and you are enough. I'll leave you with that.
Thank you.
Powerful. Dreamer CEO. And Dana here, who is joining us. And Dana, thank you for your wonderful comments. Dana said, "You are so enough, beautiful woman." And that is directly for you, Kim, from one of our viewers, Dana. And that's a powerful idea, because that's one of the things that keeps people away from what they want is I'm not enough. Most of the yeah buts, when you really analyze those yeah buts, a lot of them will come down to I'm not enough, right? I don't deserve. And so you really want to take that to heart, although you may not have dug into a reason, but you really remember that you are enough. Because when you are enough, you don't need reasons why you even want a thing. You could just say, I just want a relationship because it feels good and I deserve it and I'm enough, right? And so those are reasons why you can receive. But I in my crazy analytical mind and my note taking and stuff, I have a few points I want to share with you from the investigation. And if you have a pen and paper, you want to write these things down. Things that you really want to assess. The first thing will be your beliefs. You are running a script based on a belief, right? Time is running out is a belief. Something will happen is a belief. DNA is a belief. Regardless or not, you're running a belief. Oh my God, I can't get it because who knows? I probably got this stuff inherited from my DNA. So you want to ask yourself, what other beliefs, what other yeah buts do I have? And I will tell you this, COVID is an extension of a belief of something will happen. COVID just happened, did it not? Right when I was gearing up for my best year ever, something happened. And so in your individual world, you have manifested that. Not saying you manifested COVID in the whole world, but something has happened that has said, I knew it was going to occur. So you want to ask yourself, what other things am I believing? And Kim, let me ask you this. When was your last relationship?
Last year.
Okay. So here's the thing. One of the things I wrote down is that COVID is an excuse. It happened, it started happening in February. The world started locking down. It's really an excuse for you to say, okay, here, oh my God, look, this just happened. Now, none of that stuff. The world's going to end. After COVID, chances are there's going to be another excuse. You're probably going to revert back to, I'm not good enough. Okay, now I'm really 64. And, so you really want to you don't need an excuse. If you want a relationship or if it's not working, the question is, how can I use this scenario for something else? And here's what I said. Use this time to prepare for the love that you expect. Use this time to anticipate that love. Use this time to practice being the best Kim that Kim can be. So when she accepts this love into her life, she's not going to chase him away. Use this time to be the best version of yourself. And that goes into self-love. So I'd written self-love, okay? Self-love, you got to use this time. If you cannot change it, use it to your favor. Use this time to perfect the version of you who deserves the perfect man of your dreams. The other thing too then becomes strategy. We're all playing out a strategy. Io is, an NLP trainer, and she'll tell you that too. We all execute things based off a particular strategy. The question is, okay, I'm not finding the love of my life, where I feel, I'm running out of time. The question is, what strategies have you been running? Because I will tell you, everybody on lockdown who is looking for love is online, right? And that's a strategy to find love. So the question is, what strategies are you depending upon? Are you saying, I have to be outside to find love? That is a strategy. So I want you to revisit your strategy. What strategies do you feel has to play out for you to traditionally, how do you date somebody? I got to go to this bar, but now the bar is closed, so I cannot find anybody, right? These men are still there. These people are still there. Your dream, your lover is there looking for you. So ask yourself, what strategy have I been using? And what can I change about that strategy? And that gives you the forward action that you need, okay? And then the other thing that I was saying is, Dan also made a point. The world is a perfect reflection of who you are. We know that, right? The law of vibration. He also asked you earlier on, what would you get? Why do you want this relationship? You said, okay, it's going to multiply these things in my life, which is fine, right? Energy amplifies vibrational. But then the question is, if you cannot find a lover, who else can you share with? Could it be another person who's also feeling lonely? Could it be a child? Who else can you give this love to? Because what happens then, you become a walking resonance machine of this love, and somebody could see you and say, oh my God, there's the one of my dreams. But here's the thing, you were just doing your thing. It's a belief, and that's what Dan was kind of drilling into. You can give love without giving it to a romantic partner. But when you do, you become an amplification of that love, such that you just magnetize them to you. See, they're drawn to the vibration. They're not drawn to you. They're drawn to that vibration of love. So the question is, who can you give love to right now? There are a lot of people. So practice love, because then you become a perfect match for what that which you seek. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Beliefs, strategy, self-love, I am enough, love who you are. That whole, so many things happened in my past, the DNA, this, that, and the other. You love you for who you are right now, because you're enough. And you want that man to step into your life and say, hey, Kim, I know you're not perfect, but you are enough. That's going to be a reflection of your belief in your enoughness. Okay, so those things are the things that I think you could really change. Practice love today, and then visit those yeah buts and dismantle them. I guarantee when you become that perfect vibrational match for what you want, that person will show up. You know what? They still do deliveries. What if that perfect man happens to be, the UPS driver, or he drives to the wrong house and knocks on your door and says, hey, is this 1622? You say, no, 1624. He says, wow, you're beautiful, right? See, it's the belief of how you think you're going to find love that is standing in your way. Because magic, miracles happen. You can create your miracle. Don't let your belief stand in your way, right? So that's kind of one thought, because if you think COVID has to be over for you to find love, yeah, sure. But does it have to really? No. You go to the store, don't you? So those things, it trips us up. And those are functions of the conscious mind. Make that decision subconsciously, dismantle the subconscious things that you have, and let the universe do its thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. As you will find, those principles, those ideas also translate to the abundance part. They're all the same thing. A lover, abundance, all a bundle of energy. So when you use those things, those strategies, making money also, you need a strategy. Dan will tell you that, right? So when you can use those principles, I think you can turn it around so much quickly. Strategy, get on Facebook. You see a man you like, say, hey, I've been checking out your posts. You seem like a pretty interesting guy. You don't have to hit on him directly, but at least you're making contact. That's a strategy. I'm not saying you should do that, because in fact, you don't need to do that. Somebody can reach out to you, which is only a function of the belief you hold, right? So if you can say, this is what I want, I deserve it, I am enough, and it shall come to me, regardless of my DNA, regardless of this, regardless of that. And you just wait and give thanks and stay in gratitude, right? Because you don't want to, what if you attracted a guy who was another narcissist, but you're in a relationship? Would that be okay?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Of course not. Exactly. So you stand for what you want, believe that you deserve it, give what you feel you would have gotten if you were in a relationship away to other people who are not romantic interests, and just watch it come back to you. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I know we've got limited time. Obviously, this particular intervention, if we were to go through it, there are a few other, could go deeper, but I guarantee you, from the level and the things that we've all talked about here today with Ayo, also, and Dan, and the strategies that they've shared, it shall prove to be powerful. When you watch the video again, hopefully you make note of those points. As a coach yourself, you should know how to expand on those ideas and watch miracles happen in your life. Dan, Ayo, any thoughts?
Just everything that you've shared. First of all, Kim, I think it was Dana also mentioned in one of the comments earlier on that she loved your transparency and vulnerability, and the fact that you've been here sharing things with us publicly that you perhaps wouldn't have done in a public forum, or perhaps even with many people that you know. Just want to speak to that and make sure that you understand how much we appreciate you being here and showing up with us and giving us the opportunity to provide you with some support. I have absolutely loved it. Dan and Nathan, your comments, your offerings, your insights are absolutely world class. And I can only say that I'm absolutely privileged to be a part of this trifecta, because you two are absolutely incredible. And I just love being a part of the work that we're doing together to help people. So Kim, thank you for giving us the opportunity to help you. Dan and Nathan, thank you for being a part of this with me, because I absolutely love it. And just mirroring what Nathan has said, when you go away and when you watch this back and take down some action steps and start moving through those action steps of the things that you can take note on, that you can start taking action on, then you are going to see miracles happen and you are going to see your life transform. But it is a case of taking action. Action is the difference that makes the difference. So once you start taking action on those action steps, you're going to see miracles happen. I guarantee you of that. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions after this, at least I can speak for myself. Feel free to reach out. That's what we do. We're here to support each other. All right. Everybody supports. If we all did that, the world would change. So don't be bashful. Watch the video, take notes. If you've got any questions, please feel free to reach out. And we want you to win. We want you to succeed. I absolutely honor the fact that you came on at a very early hour in your time. You're in Australia, yeah?
Yeah, sun is now up. Yeah,
The sun is now up, right? But we started before it did, and you were able to get yourself presentable and everything. And that takes effort. That takes desire.
That's commitment.
And that's commitment and the action. So don't forget, every action that you've taken, even being here, is a positive intention that you're putting out into the universe. And I want to thank you for that, because it really said that you mean business, and that has been registered. And I know you're going to see a transformation if you follow those steps. Wherever you struggle, then you know, oh my God, I'm stuck at this point. I cannot execute this part for some reason. Boom, that's your block, right? And then you take care of that. Dan.
Thank you all so very much. It's been a wonderful privilege, and I'm very, very grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely blessed to be here. Thank you. Dan, CEO, you ready? You're good?
Yeah, I think this has been it's been a wonderful opportunity for Kim to explore different angles on things, to have a different perspective, and I am very confident that we're going to witness a timeline where you integrate this and continue to move forward, but now without this pressure on yourself to do it outside of now.
And you always have time.
But time is a human construct. Divine time is now. And the thing that holds us back from that nowness often is our obsession with time that leads to us wanting it to happen faster.
Yeah.
So when we let go and call it back to come more now, then we can experience it more nowly. So
right. Yeah,
that's me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming on. And if you wanted to go with a construct of time, like Ayo said, you've got 20 years. you look 20 years younger.
Or longer.
You can backtrack. You can keep that 64, but tell yourself you're 20 years away from that 64. I promise you, you don't have a problem. So you might as well stop the clock and just be yourself, be your best self, and radiate love and all those things, and boom, it will come. Promise you. As a man, men don't look at age as much as women think they do. They don't. It's just, we've turned on the coaches thing. They don't. A young man, quote unquote, let's call him a young man, a guy of 50 could look at you and say, oh, we mama. And you're like, hey, boy, stay away. I'm 64. He was like, who cares? They don't care.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that.
No, I'm saying if you had that time construct, I'm glad you wouldn't say that, So live your best life, be your best self, radiate love, express this fully, step into the joy of being by yourself. If you're by yourself, love every minute of it. And when that changes, love that too. It will come. And you are doing great. You're doing great. So that's all I've got for now. We can keep going on this, but for the benefit of our viewers, we are going to kill this. And I'm going to leave with a comment from Dana again. She said, Kim, I love your transparency and honesty holding space for you. So we want to thank you for
Thank you, Dana.
Being bold, for being open. It's not the easiest thing, right? Because a lot of times people share things here that they haven't shared with anybody before, and you have done a great service, not only to us, but to the rest of our viewers, because you also give them permission to step into the hot seat some other time. So I want to thank you very much for that. And without further ado, we're going to end today. So please feel free to join us again for another episode of Trifecta of Transformation. Hot seat with another guest, another presenting issue, and hopefully you watch us work with that individual in at least helping them either resolve, gain clarity on that issue so they can create positive change in your life. My name is Nathan Akpan, and
I'm Ayodele Kolade. Personal mastery begins with mastery of your mind. And
Dan?
Daniel Mangetta, dream with your eyes open.
Yes, you do. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have an excellent day. Goodbye.
Thanks.